Hello everyone, welcome to a new session of our uh, SAP Mobility podcast. This is Kevin Hu from Shanghai. Today we're going to build a gateway service with our new NetWeaver Gateway Service Builder, which has been available since Gateway 2.0 SP05. So it is a brand new tools which can enable you to build gateway services much more easy. So let's begin. Here we can see we have the gateway service builder already opened. The gateway service builder T code is SEGW. So here we're going to create a project first. Let's name it SO, which represents to sales order. So it is a BOR tools we can use. So let's import a data model. Let's say sales order. Let's use a remote functional call. Let's name it and do a quick search. We need to filter something called BAPI sales order. Let's say get list, which is the RFC function that we will use to create this data model. And here we can see in this screen we can create entity types from data sources. So here let's say we're going to select sales order ID. We're going to select node, buyer ID, buyer name, currency code, and some other attributes, say gross amount, net amount, tax amount. Click next to the last step of this wizard. You can see from here we can set a key to sales order ID, which is the primary attribute of this data model. And we're going to import, say, another model called sales order item, which we expect to return the sales order details. And here for the items, you shall see we can add more attributes. Click next, and here we also set the key to sales order ID and item. Let's click finish. And here we have set up two data models here, and both of them are created via RFC BOR methods. And here we gonna create a entity sets to represent to the collections, as we are already familiar with what the collections are in the OData protocol. So here we're going to create two entity sets. One is called sales order collection, the other one is sales order item collection, and each of them represents to a entity type which we have already defined in the data model. Let's go back and let's do a quick generation and see we have generated a lot of classes. Also we have the service generated. We have the technical model name, technical service name. Here you can choose a friendly name or use the default values here. Okay, it's all green, means there's no error. And double click the service maintenance. Let's do a register. So would be you must be familiar with this screen, as if you have go through our previous sessions of this podcast. So in here it's very convenient in SEGW tool, as you do not need to switch between different T-code here, and you can do all the things about gateway. And we have also the NetWeaver gateway client, which you can test your gateway service inside the SAP GUI. So it's very convenient tool. So you can click the response in browser and open a new browser screen. Sorry, it's some file. So let me see. Okay. So here we can see we have the click execute. We have the 200 HTTP response here. We have the metadata already there, and we shall create a new session, and let's see in SIF. Let's do a quick search of the service name, and we're gonna test this service. My username and password. Oh, sorry, I've not appended let me see. Let's do a manual test. Copy the URL here. Let's say just a moment. Entity set. Here we can map the data source for the RFC. Let's say puppy. a list of the mapping here. We can do the mapping all around in this screen. I do not need to click outside in the SE18 tool. So here what we can do is to drag and drop the parameters from the right panel. Here we have the data source parameters. We can do a quick drag and drop. Drop the attributes that we want. So you can see it's very easy to do the mappings. And you can set the constant values here. For the map directions here. Okay, cool. So we've been generated it already. So for the get entity method, it's the same. Apart from which we choose the get details BAPI. Because it is a read entry method, we have to get the details. We can drag and drop all the attributes here. And also here, apart from what we have done, we need to create a parameter here to transmit the sales order ID into the service and get the sales order according to this a specific sales order ID. So let's do this. Serves as a input to the BAPI method. Okay. And also for the sales order item collections, also we do a mappings here. Say get details So it's probably the same ways that we do. And also we choose a sales order ID to the input as the input parameter. So this puppy will retrieve all the sales items that related to this specific sales order ID. Click save. Okay, we are almost done here. For the other methods, the mapping is probably the same, so I'm not going to demonstrate it here in this session. And let's execute the new get the new metadata and new collections here. Let's do a quick test. Let's first get the service document, and we have two collections, and this first one is sales order collection. We can fight. So let me see, in a real world scenario, you're gonna never do things like this, because maybe you have thousands or millions of sales orders, so it's gonna be a performance issue. So we can fix this later. So here we can see there's an invalid sales order ID. Let's see. Okay, there's something wrong here. Maybe I think the sales order ID has a initial 0 appended. So I'm not sure what's going on here, but I'm trying to fix it. And let's test the other connections here. Sales order item collection. Sales order ID is initial. That means the sales order ID is mandatory. Otherwise, the system do not know which sales order item we want to retrieve. Let's do a test here. See if something wrong here. We append the initial 0. And here we get the sales order collection. So it's good. Maybe something wrong with the data type settings, but I'm not sure which way we can fix it. So, and here we can create some associations between those entity types. So here we can say we can create an association of sales order to sales order items, and principal entry sales order, dependent entry sales let me see, sales order item. It's a let's see, it's a one-to-many association. Let's save it. Double click the referential constraints, and here we can set up the principal entity. So it's mostly like a join in the database. Sorry, there's something wrong with the GUI. Let's click execute. I think we're going to create a constraint here. See, principal entity. Okay, same problem here. And principal key, sales order ID, and dependent property. So it's populated automatically, and connect to the sales order ID in the sales order item collection. So these two properties has been joined. Let's generate it again. Let's create an association type and association set. Set name is sales order item. Let's put the association into the set. Principal set name. This is the mandatory task we have to do if you want to enable association. I just forget this step. And here we have let's see if there's something left here. Let's also create a okay, navigation here. The navigation enables us to navigate between the collections through the associations. This is also one of the flexibility that the OData protocol provides us with. Okay, so let's do a final test. Here we can see we have two links that has been generated. We have the sales order link here, so we're gonna put this link on and see for this sales order. We have all those sales items illustrated here. And also, let's see, we can use this filter to expand. And sorry, there's something wrong here. Maybe I forget this. Yes, okay, sure. So we can use this to expand those sales order items or embed those sales items here into this sales order entry. So it's very useful if you want to retrieve the sales order information along with the sales order item information. And also you can do this. So it's gonna be a performance issue in the real world, but you can see the effect here as the data is not big. And here we can maintain the service. So it's being switched to the activate and maintain service screen, which you must be very familiar with. And also, I think we can do something else here. As we also have we have this parameters as SAP DS debug set to true. Let's see, yes, we have the top bar and all the links have been displayed. As you can click on those links directly, it's very it's very easy to do some debug, and also you can see the request and response informations, etc. So it can be an ad hoc debug tool, and it's very easy to use because it's you do not need to install the client. So I think we have already done all the tasks here in this lesson. So let's do a quick recap. So in SEGW tool, you can do all the things that is related to a gateway service. You can import those data models here. You can build mappings. You can create the associations and navigations here in Gateway Service Builder, and do not need to switch between different screens and T-codes. Also, you can do maintenance of the service. So probably since the new version of the gateway, I think the SEGW tool will be the major tool that you can use when building and maintaining and monitoring the gateway service. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye.